Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are located. Thank you all so much for joining Amtrak Vacations for today's exciting presentation. First off, I just want to mention to everyone on the right-hand side of your screen is the question box. So any questions that you have throughout today's presentation, please feel free to type those away and we will save time at the end of today's presentation to answer any questions that you may have. Also, please be sure to check that your device speakers are unmuted. And folks, let's get ready for a virtual trip on board. And starting off, let me introduce myself. My name is Jim Marini and proudly today's presenter, talking about the top 5 U.S. national parks for 2021. Now, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Amtrak Vacations, we are part of the Yankee Leisure Group family of brands. So if you look all the way to the left-hand side, we are the official tour operator for Amtrak. So what does that mean? We do way more than just rail, hotels, sightseeing tours, meals, activities, you name it. We have packages all put together, but any of them can be customized, and that includes Yankee holidays. That's the brochure you see right there in the middle of your screen, folks. This is all of our road trips, our driving vacations, also here in the United States as well as Canada. So one brand by rail, one brand by road. And speaking of rail, if you look all the way to the right-hand side, that is our latest and greatest brand called Rail Bookers. This is all of our Canadian, European, and worldwide rail vacations. And here's the best part, everyone. On all 3 brands, including Amtrak Vacations, they are all independent style vacations, flexible, independent travel. And any of those trips can be customized. Any trips that you may have in mind, even completely from scratch. So we're going to talk more about that today. But before I do, folks, if you have a paper, a pen, a camera, an iPhone, a mobile device, if you want to take a screenshot, this is something exciting I wanted to share with all of you right out of the start of today's presentation, and that is our maximum flexibility offer. So any of you that make a small deposit on any trips you may be interested, deposits are only about $250 per person. As long as you deposit before the end of March of this year, either reaching out to us or even better, contacting your local travel advisor, you have the ability, if you needed to change or postpone your trip, to be able to do that, and we are waiving any and all change and cancellation fees. So as long as you or your travel advisors reach out to us at least 5 days prior to whenever you're planning to travel, whether it's as early as the spring, summer, and fall of this year or anytime in 2022, as long as you let us know 5 days prior to departure, we will waive any and all change and cancellation fees. Now, folks, you couldn't be joining today's presentation at a better time. Why? Because today and this entire week is our National Parks Week. All right, we got some must-see destinations, and we do have some exciting special offers that I will announce at the end of today's presentation. So stick along with me for the ride as we journey through some of the different national parks. By the way, today's presentation is scheduled to be about 45 minutes, give or take, with questions, which again, I will answer at the end, as well as announcing the exciting promotion we have going on for our National Parks Week. However, before I go to the next slide, you know, folks, I had a fantastic audience during my first session today, a fantastic audience during my second session. So you know something? I know this one is going to be no different. And what do they usually say, right? Save the best for last. This is my last presentation of the day. So folks, give yourselves a little shout out in your question box on the right-hand side of your screen. If you'd be so kind, type in the great cities, the great towns, the great states, the great provinces that you are located. All right, if everyone would be so kind, in your question box on the right-hand side of your screen, feel free to type away and just tell me, where are you listening in from, everyone? Where are you joining from? We have Kim from Northern Arizona, Donald from Boston. We have Nancy from Honolulu. Wow, we got folks all over. We got Ebony from Tampa. Love Tampa. And yes, Super Bowl chips. There you go. A little shout out, Tom Brady. By the way, Ebony, if you can hear an accent, I am from the city of Boston. So yes, Good luck with that. North Carolina, Teresa. We have Ellen with Philadelphia, Dublin, Ohio. James, hi James. Syracuse, Cindy. Chanel, Buffalo. Hi Chanel. Glenn, Long Island. Nancy, Northern California. Terry, Michigan. David from Mesa, Arizona, Martha from Leonia, New Jersey, and we have Keith from Sacramento. And I know we have many more folks, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining me and having a little fun here this evening, East Coast time. So what am I going to cover today? First off, we're going to talk about the top 5 national parks. And by the way, these national parks are parks that are trending for us right now for new reservations, okay? Folks like yourselves that are just looking to go somewhere and maybe want to visit more of our own backyard. What is it like traveling to these U.S. national parks by rail? We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to highlight some of our multi-park national park vacations. And then from there, we're going to move on to private rooms on board the train. Yes, seating and sleeping accommodations. We're also going to talk about the limited time national park offer, and also, last but not least, how Amtrak is providing a safe environment, okay? So with that in mind, let's start out with just really asking all of you, where can you travel to by train? And you don't need to answer this question, everyone. Really what it should be is, where can you not travel to by train? Do you know Amtrak travels to 46 out of the 48 states within the continental United States, with the exception of South Dakota and Wyoming? But here's something fun and interesting to share with all of you. Do you know in 2019, Amtrak had over 33 million people traveled on board the train, over 33 million people. So if Amtrak was an airline, it would actually be the 6th largest airline in the United States. Now, you know yourselves the best, everyone. If you do not like to fly, or maybe you don't feel like flying, or you don't feel like driving, or you're looking for something different, maybe you're looking for an alternative, okay, because maybe you were originally planning to go on one of those fantastic cruises, and no fault of the cruise lines, they're not able to operate just yet. Maybe you were traveling somewhere internationally around the world, and obviously international travel has been made a little more challenging right now. Why not see more of our own backyard? Do you know there's over 500 Amtrak stations throughout the United States, as well as 3 in Canada, 1 in Toronto, 1 in Montreal, and 1 also in Vancouver. And you could start and end at any of them. Folks, why not step off the train into the open spaces of the U.S. national parks? Well, you'll get a chance to do that right here, right now, because the first national park I'm going to talk about is the Grand Canyon National Park. Now, early this morning, we had lots of folks join in from the eastern part of the United States, which, as many of you know, certainly if you've watched it on news, we have definitely got our fair share of snow, just like it happens many times in the Midwest. So if you want to escape the cold weather, the snow, the rainy weather, okay, the sleet, you name it, Grand Canyon operates all year round. So you can go anytime from January all the way through December. So if you want to escape those cold winters or rainy seasons, Grand Canyon's a great option. Or for those of you who may want to travel with your family, your children, grandchildren, well, guess what? The summertime is also another great option. You know, the Grand Canyon is considered to be one of the 7 wonders of the world. And speaking of the number 7, over 7 million visitors back in 2019. Now, we have several different packages to choose from. And many of those packages can be as simple as a great little getaway trip, such as right here. Here's a great package, 5 days, 4 nights. We include round trip service on board, coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway, which I'm going to show all of you in just a little bit. We also include a Grand Canyon Freedom Tour. 2 meals are included. And if you want to start or end right from your local Amtrak station, we can add that on to the package, or your local travel advisor can do that and plan the perfect trip for each and every one of you. But folks, let's take a look at the Grand Canyon Historic Village. This is located along the south rim of the Grand Canyon. This is where you want to be, certainly for any of you that are interested in the Grand Canyon. And what you'll see by looking at the map is all the different iconic lodges, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But what I will say is there's some great restaurants, some great stores and little shops with some local little souvenirs. It's a very easy area to also walk around, but there's shuttles that can bring you to and from many of the different areas. So keep that in mind. but a real treat is departing and getting a chance to travel right out of the Grand Canyon Depot. And really, when you think of Wild West, this particular depot, this train station really does bring it to life. But one of the big highlights I want to mention, not only with the Grand Canyon folks, but any of our national parks, is getting the opportunity to stay at those iconic hotels, to get a chance to stay at those iconic lodges. Here, what you're looking at is El Tovar. This is one of the most beautiful lodges and hotels located along the south rim of the Grand Canyon. As you can see, again, it has that Wild West kind of country Southwest feel in the top left-hand corner. It is truly remarkable. This is one of the hotels that we use. We also use the Kachina Lodge, Yavapai Lodge, Maswick Lodge. Some of these may sound familiar to many of you if you've been to the Grand Canyon or hope to plan your exciting trip this year, as early as, yes, this year to the Grand Canyon, or next year. We got you covered. Now, as I mentioned, we have several different packages to choose from. Here's an example of one of those packages. This is our Rails to the Grand Canyon package. And I'm going to highlight this map, everyone, because this will kind of serve as a great example for the other trips that I'm going to highlight today on all our different national parks. If you look at the red line, folks, that represents the train, okay? The number 1 in a red triangle just lets you know that's an overnight on board the train. So as you can see, you actually have 2 different overnights on board the train, going from Los Angeles out to Williams, Arizona, and then going from Williams, Arizona back to Los Angeles. Now, if you look at the number 2 in a round black circle, that just lets you know how many nights you're overnighting at the Grand Canyon. And here's the best part, as I mentioned earlier, any of these trips can be customized. So if you want to add an extra night in the Grand Canyon, if you want to start in Chicago instead of Los Angeles, it can be round trip from Chicago or Texas or Seattle, Washington. It can start or end wherever you would like. Now, one thing's for sure, when you travel into the great state of Arizona, you are traveling on board the Southwest Chief. And a little fun trivia for all of you. Do you know all the trains in the western United States, all the trains west of Chicago or east of California out to Chicago, they are known as superliner trains, which basically means they are double-decker trains. They're very large. They're the largest in the fleet of Amtrak trains. This is the train that will bring you into the great state of Arizona. But the real treat for any of you interested in the Grand Canyon is traveling on this train right here that you're looking at. Now, this is not part of the Amtrak fleet. However, we include the Grand Canyon Railway in every single package we offer to the Grand Canyon. Why? Because it's such an iconic Wild West style train. Now, it's only about a 2-hour train ride from Williams, Arizona into the south rim of the Grand Canyon, but I'm going to give you a suggestion right here, right now. I mentioned this to the first folks, the first set of group folks joining us, the second presentation I did, which, by the way, we have over 2,000 people that have joined us throughout the day today. But in the top right-hand corner, if I could draw your attention to that picture, that is inside of the dome car, the parlor car on board the Grand Canyon Railway. And for a little bit more, okay, a little bit more, depending if it fits within your price point and your budget, you will get those big glass dome windows above your overhead. Also, you'll have snacks and refreshments served on board. There's entertainment, all right, some type of form of music on your journey as you're traveling through the pine forest. Absolutely fantastic, because before you know it, what's waiting for you is right here, the Grand Canyon National Park. This is definitely one of the most amazing and one of the top 3 most popular packages that we offer in all of the United States. And when I mentioned earlier, all of our trips are independent style vacations, flexible independent travel. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Folks, when you take the Grand Canyon Railway from Williams, Arizona into the Grand Canyon, you'll arrive into the south rim of the Grand Canyon right before lunch. You'll have lunch at leisure, and then if you look in the top left-hand corner, you'll be treated for an afternoon guided sightseeing tour with a local tour guide. But guess what? Then on another day, you have free time. You can go explore the canyon on your own. You can go do a little shopping, maybe experience some of the local cuisine in the area. You see, that's the beauty of all of our trips. Unlike a traditional guided escorted bus tour where every day is very scheduled, set in stone from morning until night, we have certain days where you may have a half a day or a full day guided tour with a local tour guide, but then you may have other days where you have some free time. And I'll give you some more examples of that. But here's just a great package, Rails to the Grand Canyon, 5 days starting as low as $7.99 per person. Now, the pricing that you see in today's presentation, these are based in double occupancy. So per person, 2 to a room, but we do have single rates available as well. So again, you can ask any of our vacation consultants, or even better, contact your local travel advisor who can tell you more. Now, if we move on to this next amazing national park, it's actually my personal favorite, and that is Glacier National Park. Now, one thing to keep in mind about Glacier National Park that many of you may be aware of already, Glacier National Park is what we call a seasonal national park. So what does that mean? It does not operate all year round from January all the way through December. It only operates in the months of June, July, August, and September. So it's only available 4 months of the year. So folks, if you want to just get out of the house, if you want to travel with family, friends, and loved ones, you want that fresh, open Montana air, then consider Glacier National Park, where, by the way, it's over 1 million acres. Now, just like the Grand Canyon, we also have a great getaway package here in Glacier National Park, and any of our getaway packages can start or end right from your local Amtrak station. So we would just build that into the price. We would add that on to the whole package for you. Let's take a look at the map of Glacier National Park. And as I mentioned, it's located in the great state of Montana. A good majority is. But you know, one of the points I love mentioning when I talk about Glacier National Park, and I literally have a smile on my face right now as I'm thinking about it, is experiencing some of the local cuisine. Folks, if you're like me, I love experiencing the local cuisine wherever I travel, whether it's here in the US, Canada, or international. I want to experience what the locals experience, right? Well, in the great state of Montana, in particular, Glacier National Park, huckleberry pie, very similar to blueberry pie. Some of you may have experienced it as well. If you really want to get adventurous, they also offer elk and bison, some of the local authentic cuisine. But this is such a fantastic national park. And as you can see, it even borders Waterton Lakes National Park over the border in Canada. But folks, take a look at Glacier Park Lodge right here. By the way, this picture was taken right from the Amtrak station, which is literally directly in front of Glacier Park Lodge. And in fact, if you really want to know, and don't ask me how I know this, actually you can, because I will tell you, it's about 209 steps away from the Amtrak train station. How do I know that? Because I actually walked and counted my steps, because I could not believe how close this lodge was to the Amtrak station itself. So you know that old saying, especially when it relates to real estate, location, location, location. Folks, it doesn't get to be a better location than Glacier Park Lodge in proximity to the Amtrak station. Now, this is what it looks like from the outside. Take a look, folks, at what it looks like inside the lobby of Glacier Park Lodge. And if you're familiar with Fort Wilderness Lodge, right, at Disney World, many of you, I'm sure, are familiar, may have stayed there over the years. That lodge was inspired by Glacier Park Lodge, what you're looking at. This is the authentic, real lodge, okay? High ceilings, sky high ceilings, huge logs holding up the ceilings. Definitely that Southwest type of feel inside. Absolutely fantastic. They do also have a restaurant inside the lodge itself. Now, one of the real treats, though, folks, is getting a chance to go on the Sun Road, known as going to the Sun Road. And what you're looking at on the right-hand side, this is called a Red Jammer bus tour. And this is an example, everyone, where it's a full day tour. Your driver is your tour guide. So he or she will be with you the whole day, and it actually works really well. When I did this a couple years ago, they pick you up right from the front doorsteps of Glacier Park Lodge. Now, it only fits about 15 to 20 people, so it's a small group experience. The roof opens up, giving you that fresh Montana air. You make a couple stops along the way, picking up fellow passengers, and then you are into Glacier National Park all day. You'll have plenty of time to do sightseeing, take pictures, videos, lunches at leisure before continuing on and arriving back at the lodge before dinner time. Let's look at one of our most popular packages. Now, unlike the package that I showed everyone previously to the Grand Canyon, which happened to be round trip from round trip from Los Angeles, but could be round trip anywhere. We also have a lot of packages that start in one great city, but end in another. And this is an example of that. Here we have a package that spends 2 nights in Chicago with an overnight journey on board one of the most iconic trains known as the Empire Builder, 3 nights at Glacia National Park, then you have another overnight journey before ending in Seattle. So how do you get to and from Chicago? Some of you might be wondering, or to and from Seattle. Well, again, folks, if you don't like to fly or you don't feel like driving, we or your local travel advisor can start you right from your local Amtrak station and take care of the whole package. Or if you don't mind flying, you can either book flights or even better, contact your local travel advisor who can not only book flights, but they can book the whole package for you. Let's take a walk through this particular package, starting out in the great city of Chicago. Now, I think I may have mentioned earlier, I know I did on my first 2 sessions, I am based in the Boston area. Okay, so you can probably hear my accent a little bit as I'm presenting here tonight. If you are coming to my city, folks, you got to try the lobster, right? You got to try the lobster. Well, guess what? Chicago is no different. You go to Chicago, deep dish pizza, the Chicago hot dog, they're must. We also offer architecture cruises, as you can see here, little boat cruises, getting you up close and personal with some of the iconic sites within the city. Now, once you leave Chicago from Union Station, which is such a fantastic train station, you travel on the train known as the Empire Builder, another superliner double-decker train. And this is the train that will bring you right up to Glacier National Park, where again, you'll spend a few nights. By the way, the picture in the top left-hand corner, that is the Amtrak station. Directly behind that station, folks, is Glacier Park Lodge. Now, I will mention, I ended up walking to the lodge because it was only 209 steps away. That's it. However, for any of you that do not want to walk or you'd like a little extra help, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, they do offer a shuttle service from Glacier Park Lodge that is there waiting for you to load up your luggage and bring you back to the lodge. But just such a fantastic national park. And again, only open June, July, August, and September, months a year. Before you know it, this package ends in the great city of Seattle, home of the Space Needle, as you can see here, home of the Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibit, home of, yes, the first Starbucks back in 1971. So definitely consider this package or any customized version of this package or Glacier National Park. So keep this package in mind. And again, just a reminder, pricing is based in double occupancy, but we do have single rates, single prices available, as we do have many single and solo travelers. Now, we talked earlier at the beginning about having the opportunity to have a multi-national park vacation. Folks, here is a perfect example of that, okay? Some of you may have had a cruise planned, and again, no fault of the cruise lines, they're not operating as of yet. Some of you may have been planning to travel internationally outside the US and now are not able to, or it's much harder. Why not see more of your own backyard, and why not see more of the national parks? Well, guess what? You can see not only Glacier on this package, you can also see Yellowstone and Yosemite all in one trip without even having to drive. Now, again, just a reminder, any trip can be round trip from your local Amtrak station. So as an example, this one happens to be round trip from Chicago. But what I love is it not only features 3 national parks, it features 3 amazing and iconic train rides. The first one being the California Zephyr from Chicago out to Salt Lake City over to San Francisco. The second being the Coast Starlight from San Francisco north up to Seattle. And the third being the Empire Builder. So keep this package in mind. Certainly if you have these national parks on your wish list, you want to make it a trip of a lifetime, we got you covered. And just a reminder, any trip can be customized from any Amtrak station, right from your local Amtrak station. You can add on any night. You can upgrade to private sleep-in accommodations. And by the way, you also get to choose between a 3, 4, or 5-star hotel in any of the cities throughout the United States, okay? 3, 4, or 5 diamond hotel, your choice. All right, the last few national parks I want to highlight starts out with Yellowstone National Park. Now, here's my next fun question. You ready, everyone? And by the way, thank you all so much for participating. I will say the first 2 groups today were absolutely fantastic, okay? Here's my question for all of you. If you take 2 states in the US and combine them, and they are smaller than Yellowstone National Park, Yellowstone National Park. Who here wants to guess what two states, if you combine them in the U.S., right here in the U.S., if you combine them, are actually smaller than Yellowstone National Park? So in your question box, everyone, let's have a little fun. All right, let's see who can get the answer right. We did have a lot of good guesses earlier today during my first two presentations. Which two states, if you combine them, are actually smaller than Yellowstone National Park? Okay, here we go, everyone. I knew this was going to be a great audience. All right, we got Glenn, Rhode Island and Connecticut. Okay, we have Nancy, Rhode Island and Connecticut. Chanel, Rhode Island. Okay, next one, Ellen, Delaware and Rhode Island. Cindy, Delaware and Rhode Island. David, Rhode Island. Keith, Rhode Island, Vermont. Keep them coming, everyone. Denise from Chicago, Rhode Island and New Hampshire. Okay, keep them coming. We have Maine and Rhode Island from Tracy. Thank you. All right, you ready, everyone? Rhode Island and Delaware. Yes, Rhode Island and Delaware. Who got that right? Ellen, Cindy. Yes, you both got it right. And let's see, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, close. But by the way, both of those states combined are smaller than Yellowstone National Park. Now, Yellowstone is similar to Glacier National Park in the sense that it is a seasonal national park. So what does that mean, everyone? This, like Glacier National Park, only operates during certain times of the year. Now, this season is longer. So Yellowstone will operate from May all the way through October. Unlike Glacier, which again is only June, July, August, September, Yellowstone goes from May all the way through October. And it also has a winter season as well. So keep that in mind for any of you, not to mention some great wildlife. And let's not forget the lodging, okay? Whether it's Glacier National Park, whether it's the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone is certainly no different, bringing you up close and personal to the national park. Now, I showed everyone earlier an example of a multinational park that included Glacier National Park, Yellowstone, and Yosemite. Well, here's another example that includes not only Yellowstone and Yosemite, but also the Grand Canyon instead of Glacier. So if these three national parks are on your wish list, well, why not take advantage of this? You don't have to drive. You can relax, enjoy the sight scenery sounds along the journey, right? And you not only travel on the California Zephyr from Chicago to Salt Lake City out to San Francisco, you not only travel on the Coast Starlight from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, but you also travel on the Southwest Chief, which is the main train that goes through the great state of Arizona. Now, this package, it does go to Salt Lake City, such an iconic city, of course, known for the Salt Lake itself. It does visit Yellowstone National Park. Now, when you do visit Yellowstone, it is a sightseeing motor coach tour from Salt Lake City up to Yellowstone. And the reason why is the train does not physically go to Yellowstone, but we still include all the travel arrangements for you. This trip also includes San Francisco, another iconic city known for its great seafood, Asian food, Italian food, rolling hills. On an average, weather's in the 60s, very low to little humidity. And let's not forget about Yosemite National Park, which this is another example where it's a full day guided tour, round trip from San Francisco. So your driver, he or she is your tour guide, and they're with you the entire day. So early morning departure, you'll head out, travel through the San Joaquin Valley. You'll get a chance to experience El Capitan, the Half Dome once you're in Yosemite National Park, have some free time before traveling back to San Francisco. And let's not forget about the Grand Canyon. So again, all these parks included in one package itself, all right? So if any of these trips are on your wish list, your bucket list, again, maybe you are not able to travel internationally as of yet, why not see more of our own country here in the US? And folks, the last national park out of the top 5, yes, is the Rocky Mountain National Park. Now, if you look at this map, everyone, you may notice one difference of this package versus the other packages. Some of the other packages, as you saw, were round trip. Others started in one great city, ending in another, just like this one. But all of them had overnight journeys on them. This one, as you can see, from Denver to Glenwood Springs, you travel on the train during the day, which is a magnificent experience, in particular because you're on the California Zephyr. So we got a great range of packages. Here's a getaway, 5 days starting as low as $749. And again, pricing based per person to a room with single rate add-ons if you need that. All right, the last portion of today's presentation, folks, is seating and sleeping accommodations on board. And one important update I want to share with all of you is right now, as of today, okay, Amtrak is operating at 50% capacity on board the train, 50% capacity on board the train on purpose to allow more room in between passengers. Now, one thing to keep in mind, certainly any of you traveling this year wanting to just get out of the house, go visit family, friends, see some of these beautiful national parks, when you are traveling in coach seating, you do need to wear a mask or a facial covering, just like you would on an airline. However, I do have some exciting news to share with all of you in just a little bit. But before I do, let me give you an update on the safety protocol and how Amtrak is maintaining a safe environment. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, everyone, enhanced cleaning. Pretty much every hour upon the hour, we're cleaning and sanitizing the handles, the doorknobs, the inside, the outsides of the trains, the toilets, the showers, the train stations. As I mentioned, facial coverings are required on board the train. We are only offering a limited amount of bookings on purpose to allow more room in between passengers. But if I could bring your attention to the top right-hand corner, fresh air on board. I think this is fantastic. Amtrak has one of the most state-of-the-art air filtration system. Pretty much every 4 to 5 minutes, we're taking air from the inside, pushing it outside, taking that fresh air from the outside, bringing it inside. And that's every 4 to 5 minutes. Everything now is contact-free travel, so you can get it electronically, e-ticketing, e-documents, and private rooms. Folks, take a look at the bottom right-hand corner. This, to me, is a big highlight, certainly for any of you that would like this as an option. Now, it is optional, but it is available. And what that is any of you who do upgrade to a private sleeper, which I'm going to show you in just in a little bit, you do have the ability, if you choose, to take off your own facial covering, to take off your mask from the privacy of your own room, okay? So that is something that's really unique and special, because as we know, if we're traveling on any of the city buses, if we're traveling on an airline, that mask or facial covering needs to be on the entire journey unless you're having a bite to eat or something to drink. But inside the privacy of your own sleeper, you can take off your mask throughout the entire journey when you are inside. So definitely wanted to mention that to everyone. Before I get to the sleeping accommodations, I did want to mention packing for the train. Did you know you're allowed 2 free carry-on bags and 2 free pieces of checked luggage up to 50 pounds each, all right? Now, there's so many perks of upgrading the private sleeping accommodations. Let me give you some of those right now, folks. Do you know you get priority separate boarding, as well as having your own privacy door that you can close and lock right from the inside? You also get a dedicated car attendant, plus included toiletries, bottled water, and coffee. Now, what you're looking at right here, everyone, this is the most popular and the most affordable sleeping category of any sleepers. And as I mentioned, again, when you upgrade to a private sleeper, you can take off your mask or your facial covering from the privacy of your own room, as you can see here in the picture. You could also enjoy the sight-scenery sounds along the journey, maybe read a book, listen to a little music. Let's take a look at the roomette details. As you can see, it does fit 2 adults. You are able to bring 1 to 2 suitcases, although, as I mentioned during my first 2 presentations here today, I personally always recommend to bring a small little carry-on bag to your roomette and have your luggage stored on the first level with a lock that you can always access if you need it. And in your carry-on bag, everyone, just like I do, you can have your toiletry items, you can have your pajamas, a change of clothes, any medication that you may take, obviously any goodies and snacks, right, that you want to indulge in during your journey. But what you'll see with the roomette is you will see it does not have its own private toilet, shower, or vanity inside the room. What we have is on the left-hand side, folks, okay? A private restroom access, a private shower access. What we call this is a private yet shared toilets and showers. And the only people that can use them, which are down the hall in the sleeping car, are only people that are in sleepers, okay? Remember, our most popular and our most affordable. And it really is such a fantastic experience for those of you that have not had a chance to travel overnight on board the train as of yet, just to almost kind of experience what it was like years ago and have that nostalgic vintage way to travel. Now, you know yourselves the best. If you want your own private toilet, shower, and vanity inside of your room, well, then you're going to want to consider to upgrade to a bedroom. Let's take a look at the details of a bedroom. Now, similar to a roomette, it is bunk bed style. However, it not only fits 2 adults, but the lower bunk bed is 1.5 times as wide as the top bunk bed, which allows room for a small child. So you can actually fit 2 adults and a small child. But the biggest difference between a bedroom, which is what you're looking at right here, versus a roomette, which is what I just showed everyone, is a bedroom has your own in-room restroom, your own in-room shower. So you do have your own toilet and vanity as well as shower. And as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, the size of the room is larger as well. All right. And I will mention one other point. I'm a family of 5. So my wife and I and our 3 children, we travel once a year and we go on an overnight journey. We always request, whenever it's available, adjoining bedrooms on some of our overnight trains, not all of them, but some of our overnight trains, you have the ability, if you choose, to request an adjoining bedroom. So if you have your children, grandchildren, and you want to be side by side, just ask any of our vacation consultants, or even better, your local travel advisor, your local travel agent. And here's another view from what it looks like inside of a bedroom. Now, I will mention we also have accessible bedrooms. Now, these are a little more limited, but if any of you do need any accessible bedroom, just let us or your local travel advisor know. Now, I mentioned earlier too, during my first presentations, certainly as the world has changed a little bit from what we all knew only a year ago, right? There's definitely some silver lining moments that have come out of everything as it relates to Amtrak vacations. And you know what one of those are? Right here, folks. Dining options delivered to your private sleepers. Folks, that's never been offered in the past, with the exception of folks that were in accessible bedrooms. But now, regardless if you're in a roomette, a bedroom, a family bedroom, or an accessible bedroom, you can order hot, fresh items off the menu for breakfast, lunch, or dinner right from your Amtrak attendant, and he or she will bring those right to your private sleeper. How are they able to do that? Well, we have flexible dining, all right, which gives you that flexibility. And speaking of flexibility, if any of you have any special dietary requests, just let us or your local travel advisor know. Now, before I tell you about the exciting offer available for our National Parks Week, I did want to mention we do have everyday discounts. So any of you that are traveling with your children or grandchildren, if they're between the ages of 2 and 12, they can get up to 50% off, 50% off the cost of the rail ticket within a package based in coach accommodations. Any folks that are 65 or older, you can qualify also for 10% off on the rail portion of a package. And military, any active duty military, first and foremost, thank you for your service. You, your spouse's dependents can also qualify for 10% off on the rail portion of a package. Now, before I show you the National Park Week exciting special offer, just a reminder for everyone who's been on since the beginning, or anyone who may have logged in a little after we began, from now until March 31st of this year, as soon as you make a small deposit of only $250 per person, regardless when you're looking to travel, whether it's in the spring, summer, and fall of this year, whether it's in 2022, if you did need to change or postpone your trip for whatever the reason is, as long as you or your travel advisor lets us know 5 days prior to departure, we will waive any and all change and cancellation fees. All right, folks, are you ready? I feel like I need a drum roll. Here is the National Parks Week sale promotion. All right, so if you want to take a screenshot of this picture, if you want to write this down, take a picture on your iPhone, your mobile device, all right, right now, this week only, we are offering $400 off per couple. Otherwise, $200 off per person on any national parks packages, as long as they are 7 or more nights. Now, here's the great news, folks. If you are traveling overnight on board the train out to one of these magnificent parks and traveling overnight by train on the way back home, that counts as 2 additional overnights, okay? So 1 night going to the national park, 1 night coming back. So if you're in any of these national parks for at least 3, 4, 5 nights or longer, plus the overnights on trains, as long as it adds up to 7 or more nights, we're going to take $400 off per couple. That's the great news. Now, when does this expire? Before the end of the day this Friday, February 5th, by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So all that's due, if you want to take advantage of these great savings, is just that minimal deposit of $250 per person, either giving us a call or even better, contacting your local travel advisor to take advantage of these savings. Now, folks, I do see we got some great questions that have come in, so I'm going to save time to answer those questions and certainly any others that you may have. But before I do, folks, if you'd be so kind, my last fun question for all of you. The first audience, the second, were absolutely fantastic with the different destinations that they are all interested in traveling to and when. If you would be so kind, everyone, I'm going to give you a minute or two in your question box on the right-hand side, all right? Let's just have a little fun. We'll do a little shout out where everyone's interested in. But what destinations, folks, are you interested in? And when? All right, so if everybody would be so kind in your question box on the right-hand side, just type away for me, and we'll do a little shout out to all the different destinations that are coming in. But just type in, what great destinations are you thinking of, or you're interested in, and when? All right, so here we go, everyone. All right, so moving along. Glacier 2022. All right, Denver, September. Thank you, Kim. Big Sur. Thank you, Irene. California, Glacier, Yosemite, and Yellowstone. Let's see. Oh, they're coming in fast. I love it. Thank you, James. Glacier and Rocky Mountain. Teresa, fantastic. Grand Canyon for my birthday. Happy birthday, Chanel, for Memorial Day. I know it's early, but happy birthday in advance. And by the way, speaking of birthdays too, I will say we get a ton of folks that travel for their birthdays or for an anniversary or a special occasion. So keep that in mind. Grand Canyon, thank you, Ebony, 2021. I'd like to visit my brother in Pennsylvania, then travel to New England, maybe Canada. David, sounds fantastic. And let me say, again, just a reminder, any of these trips can be customized, even completely from scratch. Ellen, Yosemite, thank you, Ellen. Leo, hey, Leo, Yosemite, let's see, John, Glacier, Martha, Grand Canyon in August of this year. Cindy, Glacier, 2022, Acadia, or Glacier, Terry. By the way, I will mention too, thank you, Terry, for mentioning Acadia. Folks, we travel to 18 different national parks here in the US. I only highlighted the 5 most popular. We actually go to 18 different ones, all right? And that includes Acadia. Thank you, Terry. We got New York to San Francisco. Jacqueline, fantastic. All right, folks. So with that in mind, let me just show the last picture right here, really more as a reminder. Here is our phone number, top right-hand corner. We are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can visit us online, as I mentioned. You can also book any of these trips through your local travel advisor, who also, by the way, can even book flights for you, either one way or round trip. So if you want to do a train trip in the middle, whatever you choose. All right. So with that in mind, folks, let me open it up to any questions that you may have. And I do see we have a few that have come in and some nice comments. Oh, Jerry, thank you so much. Thank you for your nice, kind words. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Fantastic. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, moving along. Is smoking allowed on board the train? Great question, Denise. Smoking is not allowed on board the train, but they do make stops along the way that you can certainly get off, have a quick cigarette break, and certainly some of the larger stations, you'll have a little more time before moving on to the next destination. Fantastic. My family and I, thank you, Trevor. My family and I would like to go from Baltimore, Maryland out to the Grand Canyon and then fly home. Is that possible? Absolutely, Trevor. Yes. Again, you can go round trip right from your local Amtrak station. You can go one way by train and fly home. Again, we book everything except for flights. So you could certainly book your own flights, or even better, as I mentioned, book through your local travel advisor who can book the entire package, including flights, whatever you prefer. Jonathan, so let's see. Jonathan is asking, how do you get to Yellowstone with Amtrak? So the way you get to Yellowstone is actually through Salt Lake City. So the train, which is the California Zephyr, brings you up into Salt Lake City, and then from there you travel to Yellowstone by full deluxe motor coach as well. All right. So anyway, thank you, Jonathan. Hope that helps. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Mary. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you. Fantastic. Let's see. Hi, Kim. Let's see. Looking to travel in September, October. Only about 4 to 5 days maximum. Stay at hotels. With leaving from Chicago, what's the best place they can go? That's a great question, Kim. So let's see. What's the best place to go to? And let me see. Stay at hotels. Okay. And best place they can go leaving from Chicago. So Kim, I am looking at my helpful handy map right here, right? because we got so many different routes all over the US. So leaving from Chicago, 4 to 5 days, I'm going to suggest, I'll be honest, I'm going to suggest either DC, I'm going to suggest even New England as well. And obviously outside of that, 4 to 5. They could do a round trip to Glacier. They actually could do a round trip to Glacier. It's one night going out and then one night coming home. So they wouldn't have as much time in Glacier, but that would give you some good options. Chicago, I will say, is really the hub of all the overnight long distance trains. So anyway, they literally could go east to west, Kim. So my best advice, sincerely, is just reach out. And we can help you, or certainly contact your local travel advisor, which is absolutely fantastic. So anyway, thank you, Kim. Let's see, Amtrak's pet policy. Hi, Nancy. So Amtrak's pet policy, service animals are allowed. So service dogs are allowed in certain trains, a small animal, a small dog, a small cat are allowed. They do need to be in their own little, their own little bag, cage, so to speak. So I would just ask your local travel advisor or one of our vacation consultants to tell you more, but service animals always allowed. Let's see. Hi, Debbie. Do we have family-size sleepers? Yes, we do, Debbie. On some of our overnight journeys, we do have family bedrooms available. So depending on where you're looking to travel and when, let's see. Hope that helps, Debbie. Is there Wi-Fi on board? Hi, Chanel. So Wi-Fi, here's what I say. Wi-Fi is available and free of charge when you're traveling throughout any of the major cities, as well as some of the small to mid-sized cities. However, when you do travel out to the national parks, especially when you're in the mountainous region of the US, you're in the countryside, wireless is not available. But I will tell you, Chanel, and I can speak firsthand because I've done many of these trips firsthand myself, that's actually a good thing. There is something to be said about almost, disengaging from the virtual community and almost being off the grid and offline, because that's really part of the whole experience, is really just soaking in that beautiful sights, scenery, and sounds along the journey. So yes, it is available. It is free throughout the cities, but in the parks, very, very spotty. All right, hope that helps. Thank you, Chanel. Do all stations have transport to lodging? Great question, Terry. So I will say all the hotels and lodges we use, we purposely partner with hotels and lodges located either within a short walking distance of the train station or a short cab ride. So some of the lodges, like Glacier National Park, does have shuttle services available where they can bring folks to and from. And then others, as an example, if it's the Grand Canyon, well, the Grand Canyon Railway will bring you right up into the south rim of the Grand Canyon. When you're in Yellowstone National Park, well, you'll get there by a full deluxe motor coach. Same thing with Yosemite. So it just depends on which national park you're looking to travel and when. All right. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks, Terry. Is your luggage transferred? Hi, Ebony. Is your luggage transferred from train to train when you have to change? It is, Ebony. So you can either do one of two things. If you check it in from whatever city you're departing from to where you want to pick it up at the final city, then it will be connected all the way through. So if you have changing trains, it will be connected all the way through. However, if you want to have your luggage handy and with you on the first level of the train, that's what I do a lot myself personally, just because I know I can get to it on the first level. I put a lock on it so nobody can open it except for me. I like having it handy right there, but you are able to check it in from your starting city that you're leaving from until the city you arrive in, and it would be transferred if there was a connection. All right. Thank you, Ebony. Oh, Kim, thank you so much. Hi, David. Let's see, how much are multi-stop tickets? It all depends. Everything is live pricing, Dave. So it just depends on where you're looking to travel and when. So we don't hold any space. Everything's live pricing. Just like if you were buying an airline ticket, you could check this morning and it might be $6.99, and you check later on and it's $7.24, right? As an example. So it's all live pricing. So just depending on where and when you're looking to travel, we can help you with that. Let's see. Okay. Thank you very much, Dave. Terry, free time in parks. Are other local tour options available if you don't have a car? Absolutely, Terry. Lots to see and do. A lot of these lodges and hotels, once you're there, there's so many other options to take advantage of. I'm sure I speak for many of us when we travel anywhere in the US, right? If you go in the hotels, a lot of times they have these, almost like countertop areas where there's like little flyers and pamphlets available. So if some of you want to go hiking and fishing and doing a helicopter ride, some of the more adventurous options we typically don't include, but they are available. Some of you may want to do, as an example, a helicopter tour over the Grand Canyon. We don't offer that, but that could be available while you're in the Grand Canyon for those of you that may want something a little more adventurous, or even taking a donkey along the Grand Canyon. That's another, kind of fun little option. So again, depending on what you're interested in, but yeah, lots of options available once you're actually in the parks too as well. All right. Oh, thank you, Chanel. Let's see. Traveling as a couple. Hi, James. I'm a senior and my partner is not. Can I purchase both tickets on my discount? Great question, James. The discount only does apply for the person that does qualify, and that's Amtrak guidelines. But obviously, you would be able to take advantage of that discount, James. Now, in saying that, again, if there's any other special offer, any other special promotion, again, your travel advisor or any of our vacation consultants can certainly help you. All right. Thank you, James. Great question. Nancy, oh, thank you so much. James, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Yep, just scrolling through all the questions here. Okay, we got two more, folks, and then we'll see if there's any others. Actually, we just got another one in. All right. Ellen, which trips are the most scenic en route to the destination? Ellen, I mentioned it earlier, right? Glacier is still my absolute most favorite national park. It's the most breathtaking, and I would say a close second is actually, and by the way, Glacier is on the Empire Builder. The second is on the California Zephyr, which goes out to the Rocky Mountains National Park, travels through Denver, Salt Lake City, and then of course you have the option to go to Yellowstone or continue on to San Francisco to visit Yosemite. Those are probably, as far as train ride, some of the absolute most scenic. Obviously, when you're on the Grand Canyon Railway traveling through the pine forest into the Grand Canyon, and this is why these are the top 5. But my personal would be Glacier. That would be my vote. So anyway, Ellen, I hope that helps. Thank you for asking it. You're bringing a smile to my face as I'm, reminiscent of the trip itself. Oh, thank you, David. Good. We'll be calling soon. Planning for my retirement. Yes. By the way, congratulations, David, on your retirement. Very, very exciting. JR. Hey, JR. What are the single options? Great question, JR. We have tons of single options. About 15%, 10 to 15% of all of our travelers throughout the entire United States are all single and solo travelers. So JR, to answer your question, it just depends on where and when you're looking to travel, and we can tell you what those single rates are. All right. Folks, I'm going to give all of you another minute or so. If you have any other last minute questions, while I'm waiting for any last minute questions, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation, folks. I really appreciate all of you being here. We did get a couple more coming in. Okay, cool. So Irene, how much percentage-wise for singles? Great question, Irene. Obviously singles are always going to be more expensive. So, on an average, it's 1.5 times as much. So if a bedroom is if a roomette, is $500, a bedroom might be 1,000, or it might be 750 to 1,000. So it's always going to be a little more. And again, it all fluctuates, Irene. So just depending on where and when you're looking to travel. And here's what I'll say, everyone. I'll leave you with one last thought, and then any other questions we get. Whenever I travel with my family, everyone, like I said, a lot of times I get 2 adjoining bedrooms, but I will tell you, I also price it out to say, okay, how much would it be for 2 roomettes across the hall from each other, or 2 bedrooms, or actually, 3 roomettes, because I'm a family of 5. So I will price it out and say, okay, 3 roomettes side by side across the hall from each other, or 2 bedrooms. Most of the time I go with the bedrooms just because we can get that interjoining room that we've been fortunate to get, and it's available to any of you on certain trains. So it's not all the trains, but anyway, hope that helps. Let's see. Hi, Leo. Is there any connection service from San Jose or Salinas to Yosemite? Leo, yes, there is. Absolutely, there is. So, depending on where you are going. Yep, there it is, San Jose. I'm looking at the map right now. There is a connection service to Yosemite. Now, the train does not physically go to Yosemite, just so you know, everyone. It is by motor coach. So it's typically a round trip motor coach tour bus that will bring you from San Francisco out to Yosemite and then back to San Francisco, where then you can transfer over into San Jose or Salinas. So anyway, hope that helps, Leo. Ellen, thank you so much. Martha, thank you. David, thank you so much for your kind words. All right, folks. Well, you know something, more than anything, thanks for taking a little time with me today. I really do appreciate it. And most importantly, spending time with Amtrak Vacations. You know, again, if you don't like to fly, you're looking for something different, you just want to get out of the house, whether it's a quick getaway trip or a 1 to 2 week trip out to these magnificent national parks, we got a great offer going on right now. So I'm going to just share this one last time with all of you, certainly for any of you interested in Glacier National Park, Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Rocky Mountains, or any of the other 18 national parks we go to, we got you covered. All right. So with that in mind, thank you so much. And I know I speak on behalf of all the travel advisors out there that you all work with. Thank you for all your support. And we look forward to having you, your friends, and family on board soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day and have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.